Welcome to Food and Loathing, a weekly rundown of how people are eating and drinking in the entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm your host, Al Mancini, joined via the worldwide interweb Zoom by my co-host, Gemini Stevens, and our producer, Rich Johnson. I believe Rich is also here in Vegas this week. Gemini's in Oklahoma City, where she caught up with one of Las Vegas's top chefs this week, and we'll have more on that later. Other than that, how's everybody doing?
Really good.
Making it through the heat by
hiding in the AC for
not
sure.
Looking at the power bill. Yeah.
I've got about a million stressful things going on that I can't talk about.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's always fun. But yeah, look, we're still having fun though. And that's the important thing. We've got a great show for you this week. At the center of the episode, I sit down with Las Vegas chef Matt Meyer to talk about the art of dry aging and how he is taking it to the next level in a series of upcoming events. And we've spoken about Matt before, and I'll give you the whole intro, but you know, he had me out to this dinner and they did dry aged duck and dry aged pork and dry aged steak and dry aged fish. And I think a fucking dry aged banana wasn't really dry aged. It was fermented, but you know, it was a fermented banana dessert. And I was like, wow, this shit's really cool, but I'm a food nerd. So I don't know how many other people are going to think it's cool, but
I love it.
If anybody thinks it's cool, it would be the food nerds that listen to this fucking show.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like sometimes I do podcasts and I'm like, oh man, everybody who writes every other, you know, newspaper, magazine, you know, whatever in town, they should get ideas. Like, you know, when we did Todd's, I'm like, oh, you guys should all put Todd on the cover. I don't know that everybody in the world's going to have an audience that wants to talk about dry aged proteins, but my audience, I believe, will, and hoping. So at the center of the show, we're going to get all into that. In the news section, I sat down with Mama Christina Ngyuen on the final day of service at the Chinatown Landmark District 1 to talk about what's next for the space, the concept, and her. But we always kick things off talking about where we've been eating. Rich, you are our resident man of the people. Do you have anything populous for us this week?
Well, a couple things. My one big outing involved a marathon walk, mostly inside, which you can do on the Strip in Las Vegas. Start at Caesar's Palace, go outside across Flamingo to the Bellagio, through the Bellagio, the back halls to Vidara, outside to Aria, another back hall to Park MGM, outside to New York, cross Trop to Excalibur, then all through the Luxor and Mandalay Bay, and then back again, about 5 miles, and man, I needed that. Of course, after that, most of the way through that, I also needed a snack, so I stopped at Tamaki Bar inside Proper Eats Food Hall. Salmon and tuna nigiri, the Bang Bang Shrimp. Here's something interesting if you're a soft drink nerd like me.
By the way, just Proper Eats Food Hall.
Proper Eats Food Hall. Inside Aria.
Where's that? Thank you.
Second floor, yes.
There's a lot of food halls, man.
That's true. You are right. Yep.
Okay, go ahead. I apologize. What'd you get at Proper Eats?
If you're a soft drink nerd like me, you know that the MGM Empire is a Pepsi place, right? Well, Proper Eats Food Hall, as well, all of Vegas, 3/4 of Vegas is a Pepsi place, you know.
Okay.
Proper Eats has Coke products. I don't know how they did that, but they did it. 3 high-tech, dial up what you want on the screen soda machines. I love that. So, zero ginger ale for me.
You know, Vegas is one of those fucking towns. If I am out in a restaurant, I have absolutely, and I order a lot of soft drinks these days, you know, and I'm just like, I always look at the waitress or the waiter or whomever, and I just go, Coke, Pepsi, whatever the fuck you guys pour here, because they always correct me and I always guess wrong, man. And it's very important, I guess, because of their contract that they correct every single fucking person who, and I can't keep track of what properties are what, man. It's a pain in my dick.
Well, I remember 25 years ago when I was working in Chicago, somebody used the word Coke as a generic word for soft drinks, and I had never heard that before. And I went back and forth until she finally said, "No, I just mean, you know, I had a Coke, a 7-Up, whatever." Okay, now I understand. Don't get mad.
Yeah, I've heard of that, man. That's fucking weird.
Pop, soda, Coke. Yeah. So, you know, Pepsi would probably be envious
Coke
of that.
as a generic term for a lot of things, but
well,
they're all in the powdered form.
Yeah, I was going to say, no liquids involved there. I did my usual semi-pilgrimage to Cafe Breche for baguette. I made a couple of impulse buys, some real French butter, not the stuff made in the French style, but a real product of France. I will head out later today and find some great French hamon, and then go crazy with simple ham butter on baguette sandwich. And
Perfect.
dream
Throw
I'm
some
back
pickles
in
in
Paris.
there in your every French deli.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
I did some home cooking. I'm doing some home cooking as we record. I celebrated the 4th with one big-ass hot dog. Actually, it was 2 hot dogs inside a big-ass Kaiser roll from Smith's because it is not so easy to buy 1 or 2 hot dog buns.
No.
I don't want to buy 8 and then a 6-pack of, Snapperazos or something. It did hit the spot, putting 2 on there. Traditional 4th of July. Onions, relish, mustard, and yes, ketchup.
Oh, God.
I've said before, it's not mustard or ketchup. It's mustard and ketchup. 2 rails of mustard, 1 rail of ketchup, the tart and the sweet in balance. See,
It's a
I'm
good
learning.
balance
Yeah.
if you have a McDonald's cheeseburger. I love it for a McDonald's
Well, that's when I
cheeseburger.
grew up on that balance, yes.
Oh, my God.
And even
not on a hot dog. though.
even as
No,
we
not for me.
speak, my Instapot is in slow cooker mode with some big bad bolognese. My usual sort of half jar, half homemade thing. I had a pound of ground beef, a pound of hot Italian sausage, 2 big yellow onions I finely diced, a red pepper finely diced, 7 cloves of garlic, Italian seasoning, salt and pepper, red pepper flakes, about 6 ounces of Cabernet Sauvignon, and into that 2 big jars of carbone, basil, and garlic pasta sauce. And once it's all done, doled out into individual glass containers into the freezer. Take one of those out, boil some spaghetti in them. Good to go for a while.
There you go.
So,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, I have to say, we tease Rich Johnson all the time, but he is the fucking MacGyver of getting whatever's in his cabinet
Right?
and making it
Seriously.
good. Or I guess he said that he's the Spencer for hire.
Yes,
rather.
exactly.
Not familiar with
Thank you
that
for the
one.
homage there.
But
the callback.
yes. So yeah, but basically, yeah, if you've got some weird ass shit in your fridge and your cabinet, Rich will make it a meal. And like, let's face it, that's where puttanesca came from, right? The horse sauce. It was just what the prostitutes had in their cabinets, and they threw it out there. So, Rich, I'm not calling you a whore or anything, but
Sometimes that would be a compliment given the way my life's gone lately. So
Oh, boy.
Gemini,
That's
what
it for
about
me.
you? I know you've been in the OKC for most of the week. Do you have at least one? And you're going to have at least one report from there.
Yep.
I know. Anything else before we get to that? Anything here in Vegas?
No, I've spent most of the past week in OKC, and we did a road trip for the holidays. So my share is short, but a little sweet and savory this week. We did a road trip to St. Louis and Kansas City over the holiday weekend to explore some barbecue, because that's a bigger thing here. So I'll be sharing my experiences on social media because they're not really Vegas focused. But I've already posted some stuff. Just go to Wishbone and Vine on Instagram. But speaking of barbecue, as I mentioned to you, I ran into local chef Bruce Kalman, Vegas local chef Bruce Kalman of Soul Belly and Pepper Club in OKC this week. And I mean, if by running into, you understand, I heard about an event, I bought some tickets, I went for the experience. That's how I ran into him.
I was going to say, you didn't just trip over him in the fucking.
No, we didn't just run into each other at the dog
CVS.
park or something. He teamed up with OKC chef Kevin Lee, who people have seen on Tournament of Champions 24 and 24. That's actually how they met. They met on the set of TOC when Bruce was trying to get through the qualifiers onto the main show. It was really fun. They've kept up a really good friendship. And so they did a menu. It was a really fun balance of both chefs. So we started with an amberjack crudo, and the whole idea, I should say, is that it's Bruce's Italian background and Chef Kevin Lee's Korean background that they brought together for this. And I will tell you, one of these dishes you can find in Vegas. So we had an amberjack crudo on the Korean side with Chef Kevin Lee, cherry gochujang vinaigrette, green apple wasabi relish, super light, super flavorful. I just wanted to drink the sauce. Bruce did an Okinawa sweet potato gnocchi with pistachio mint pesto. That was fucking amazing. It was.
There's a lot of words in that fucking.
There's a lot of words in there. So
For
it's
that
purple
title.
sweet potato gnocchi and a pesto with mint and pistachios versus, say, pine nuts and basil, that kind of thing. And the flavors were fantastic. A little bit of sweet, but not like dessert sweet by any stretch of the imagination. Really good savory flavors. That is the one that you can find here in Vegas, in Las Vegas. That is on the menu at the Pepper Club.
I gotta
So-
get back into Pepper Club.
Oh
man.
my God,
That's-
yes,
I
it's so
need
good.
to. We should do a Pepper Club
I'm in.
thing.
Let's do it. We had a rice powder crusted scallop. It was a wonderful seared scallop with parsnip puree and a black garlic glazed mushroom. Perfect combination. That one came from Lee's Korean side. And then Bruce finished it up with a Fiorentina style Wagyu. That was really, really wonderful. Fork tender, braised fennel and beans, salted shrimp salsa verde. Just super flavors, but the menu stayed nice and light. Everything flowed really well. The servers and the bar people were there if you wanted cocktails or wines, if you wanted them to pair it, they would do that for you. But it was just really cool to see Vegas represented. Got a little bit of a shout out because we were sitting close to the front where they were doing all their announcements. And just really good to see, you know, a Vegas chef running around and playing in the kitchen in more places, and especially when I get to be there.
Cool. Did you get to chat with them?
I did actually. We had a quick chat about what Chef Bruce has planned for events at Soul Belly because I was asking about his travels.
I fortunately get to travel a lot and cook for people in other cities, and I like coming to places like Oklahoma City because everybody's so nice and appreciative that you're here. So it's nice when you go and you do things like this to feel appreciated for what you're doing. And more importantly for me, I like seeing these people have a great time, enjoying themselves, and you know, being excited to come and, you know, meet Kevin and I and you know, just be a part of this really special night.
So of course I have to bring this back to Vegas. Chef Kevin, are you going to come to Vegas?
Absolutely. You know, I went to school there, and I worked there for that's where my career started.
That's right.
So, you know, I think it will be awesome to go back and cook again and meet some old friends and new friends that are in Vegas. And I think it'll be an unbelievable experience.
I love that. So who else are you bringing to Vegas, Chef?
Well, we're gonna plan a collab at Soul Belly. So, and I have I got a big one coming as well in September that we're working on that I don't want to say yet. But I've got Hugh Mangum that I was on Barbecue Brawl with has a new book called Barbecue, and it's a world, like barbecue from around the world. It's a really spectacular book. So we're gonna do dinner at Soul Belly for his book tour. You know, I love bringing chefs out and cooking with people. It's just fun to collaborate. I learned a lot being here. You know, I learned a lot from Kevin. I learned a lot from everybody. You know, every time I go somewhere, I always bring something back.
Okay, and was that it for you, Jem, this week?
That's it for this week, but I know there'll be more next week.
Cool. You're gonna have some Vegas for us next week?
That's the plan.
Okay, groovy. I don't know where we're recording next week. I'm trying to get into where are we trying to get into right now? Basilico, maybe, to sit with Joe Valdez. So Joe, if
that'd
you're
be
listening,
awesome.
let's make that happen. But I mean, no promises. Or more importantly, Marissa, if you're listening, Rudy, any of you guys, let's make that happen. So my week, man. Sue and I spent a few hours in the Arts District this past weekend. Before we hit Main Street, we decided to visit Arts Square, right? Which is that area right behind the Arts Factory building. It's in where the Burlesque Hall of Fame is in there and shit. And it's kind of weird because it's a lot of walking space back there, and you never know where to fucking park. There's one giant parking lot for everything. But anyway, it was cool. I was going to check out Craft Creamery. That was my intended spot, but I saw Nocturno sitting there.
Yeah, we had them on the show.
Yes. So I wanted to check it out. They weren't open yet. I popped in my head. And of course, Nocturno is by Lou Lupo and DJ Flores. I popped my head in. Cool place. I got to look at their ornate cocktail book that's basically serves as their menu. Really gorgeous. These guys are very serious about craft cocktails. I took a bunch of pictures and all my photos came out fucked up. They're just bunch of blank screens. I probably had my finger in front of it or something. I don't know. I'm a moron. But very impressed with Nocturno, even though we didn't hang there. We just got to look at the room. Loved it. Then we went over to Craft Creamery. Ice cream in the front, food and booze in the back. You got to go through the walk-in freezer. You open up the walk-in freezer, you go back, and there's the whole speakeasy type thing going on there in Craft Creamery. Chris Militello is behind the bar. Oh, so yeah, this is it too. Chris, if you're listening, man, yeah, I owe you an apology too. I owe everybody an apology because I was I don't usually leave the house when I'm stoned or get stoned during the day, but I was going to go and spend a full day down in the Arts District. So I was a little high and I could not remember Chris Militello's name for the fucking life of me. But we know him from Manzu. Yeah, he's great. And we know him from Manzu. He's over at Craft Creamery now. They also have a great, like, book of cocktail menu, right? With illustrations and all of this, classics and originals. Once again, a big emphasis on the craft of craft cocktails, right? Seriously, mixing a good cocktail. 16 food items on the menu, from $10 for things like potato taquitos or tomato tartare, all the way up to the menu said steak fritters, but I honestly think it's steak frites. I think they added a fucking R that they weren't supposed to, because the description there
Somebody's
is
autocorrect.
yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure. I didn't buy that one, right? But that is the most expensive thing on the menu. Anyway, that's ribeye fries chimichurri. That sounds like steak frites. I had some short rib croquettes. Just a nice little dab of super rich short rib meat over a potato croquette with cheese, panko, and chives. Really fucking good. High quality for a bar in the Arts District that you're really going to for cocktails. We also already know that Nocturno is going to have good food because DJ Flores is creating it. Also, right there in that Arts Square is Doberman Drawing Room.
Yes.
Which everybody thought was private, but it's not really. Everybody can go there. And they're promoting a food menu this month too. I didn't go to that one. They weren't open yet either. But I really feel like there's a huge concentration of people that take cocktails seriously and food seriously right there in Arts Square. I mean, when we talk about going to the Arts District, we always think staying on the other side of Charleston.
Right.
We're usually, staying on the south side of Charleston, right? And then this is on the north side, just north of Charleston. Yep. But they really, I mean, if you like cocktails and you like good food, and if you don't, why are you listening to this fucking show? But you should really check out that Arts Square sec. It must just be for my charming personality, I guess, because I'm so kind. So anyway, man, have you guys had a chance to Jem? Have you been to any of those?
No, not yet. No.
Rich, how about you?
Of course not. No. I lead a sheltered life, Is it at the corner of Lake Mead and Rampart?
To do all those things, but unfortunately, I haven't done it yet.
Well, I'm glad I got over there. I really want to just remind people that, definitely check out the Arts Square section of the Arts District. But of course, if I'm in the Arts District, I am then going to go down to Main Street. Skipped most of my favorite haunts on Main Street, but went into Bar Boheme.
Oh, yeah.
So, Bar Boheme, James Tree's French restaurant. Can we start by talking about butter?
Yeah.
I think I got that ball rolling a while ago.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Because the deal is, and you guys know that I don't like to pay for bread. Like, it just annoys me. No matter how good James Tree's bread is, I don't like to pay for it. So when I'm at Esther's Kitchen, I usually order like the artichoke butter, and then I don't feel bad because I'm paying for artichoke butter, and then I get the bread with it, right? Like, I just trick myself,
Right.
That's my thing. I don't like to pay for fucking chips and salsa at a Mexican restaurant. But here's the deal. This is a whole other level of what they're doing. This butter that they get is called Beurre de Rodolphe Le Meunier, and it's a cheesemaker, a craft artisanal cheesemaker in France that makes this fucking butter. And you'll see it almost feels like cheese at sometimes when you're eating it. It is unlike any other butter in the world. I love ingredient-driven restaurants. I have never bragged about just a pure butter. Like, I'll talk about people that add things to their butter.
Sure.
And, they put some kelp in there, some fucking sea salt. No, this is just motherfucking butter from France, and it is so good. So you do have to pay $5 for James's baguette, but you can spend $10 and you can get the baguette with this butter. We brought the butter home. I buttered fucking everything over the weekend, man. Like, we need some butter on that, man. Let's put some of this butter on it. So seriously, do not underestimate how fucking good the butter is at Bar Boheme. It's outrageous.
Cheaper than buying a ticket to Paris, I imagine.
Yeah, it is. It's cheaper. I actually looked it up online, and I think it might have been something like maybe $30 for half a pound, right? Like,
wow.
It's like something ridiculous like that. I'm guessing, I'm sure you guys will find it for a different price and yell at me, but somewhere in that. That's the range we're talking about, right? So it's a lot of money on butter, and I'm more than willing to pay for it because it's so fucking good.
If I find it, I'll use my inside voice.
Okay. I did some croquettes de brandade, which is basically salt cod potatoes and remoulade.
Brandade, yep.
Brandade, thank you. $17 on that one. Really good. The Gorgères, which were stuffed with a truffle cheese mousse. So fucking good. I mean, I think they would have been rich without this stuffing, to be honest. But I mean, they were just so fucking decadent. And yeah, what else? Scallop crudo. They changed that up on the menu. They're doing it with watermelon and tarragon right now. Fucking fantastic. A new mac and cheese that they're trying to develop. They brought out. It was really, really good. I liked it. I wouldn't go to this place for mac and cheese, honestly. Like, to me, that's heartier than what I like. For me, Bar Boheme, I think sit at the bar and just pick at things and have, you know, the little pedophores or whatever. And, you know, that's for me. But the mac and cheese was great that they brought out for us. Thank you, Joe Swan, for that. You are awesome. And then I had to get for Sue to try the caramel apple tatin with foie gras ice cream.
Ooh.
Yes.
Because it is just this gorgeously flaky pastry base with this caramel and apple kind of filling on it. Very much a beautiful French pastry. And let's remember that all of James's restaurants have a huge dessert program going on right now. They've really upped their game on desserts, so their pastries are going to be fantastic. So that's what it at its base, and then they put the foie gras ice cream on top. Of course, the foie gras ice cream is sweetened, so it's not pure earthiness. So, you know, you've got it makes sense to put apple with foie gras. That's a natural pairing. But when you put sweetened apple with sweetened foie gras, you know, you're not going to get the heavy, heavy, heavy foie gras taste, but it's a nice accent and it works really well. I think it's incredibly creative. I love it. If you go there, you should definitely try that. Have you tried that dish?
I've not had that one, but I've been to Bar Boheme twice now, and yeah, I just keep eating everything I can find.
I think I'm leaving now to go stand in line for the 5 o'clock open 3 hours after that.
Right.
Yeah, I went with
Description.
one of my girlfriends, Melissa. I've talked about her before because she's fun to go and explore food with. And yeah, I think we had James sit down with us and kind of guide us through the menu, and we just kept saying yes. They just kept bringing it in.
Yeah. Well, we
had lots of leftovers, but it was all good.
We had a lot of food. We brought the butter home. We had a great time. What else have I done recently? A short visit over to Pier 215 for sushi.
Oh yeah.
That's like the closest sushi place to my house, and some days I just don't really want to venture very far out.
Right.
And they do solid sushi. Nothing exceptional, all very good. Also got a really good and huge hamachi collar there, so that was great. They have an all-day happy hour, which so that's not really a happy hour. I think Andrew
Happy
spoke about
days.
this.
Yeah.
I think
It's a
Andrew spoke
discount
about
menu.
this on one of our happy hour reports, but it's basically just a bargain menu, right? And
Yeah.
some good deals. So the prices were really fair. So I would recommend if you're in that neighborhood. I mean, of course you have the Durango right there, and of course you have Uncommons right there. There's a lot of good choices by Pier 215, but I happen to think the sushi, I'd rather go there for sushi than you or me. That's just me personally. And
Yeah.
I spend a lot of time in the food court. I work out of the food court at Durango, but for sushi, Pier 215 I really enjoyed. So dropped by District 1, got some oxtail fried rice, garlic noodles with vegetables brought home to Sue. My conversation with Christina is coming up later in the show, and that is about it for me this week. One of you guys take us into the break. I'll let my dog pee.
Along with Christina, we also have a happy hour report from Andrew Morgan. But first, it's Al and Chef Matt Meyer to talk about dry aging everything. This is Food and Loathing.
As promised, here's my interview with Matt Meyer, a veteran local chef who has taken a deep dive into the world of dry-aged proteins. So, Chef, I've been wanting to do this interview with you, I guess, for about a week now, because you had so many members of the press in for an unbelievable meal. It was just a Chef Matt Myers Presents Dry Aging. It was a private event. Could you tell people a little bit about what you did?
So I just wanted to showcase and kind of tap into that old world cooking and techniques that have been, have dominated, the early culinary ages, like fermentation and curing and dry aging. Those are all like old world techniques that, you have to really like have patience, to deal with. And like, it's the most precious ingredient there is time, right? So, like, some people can work with that and some people can't. But I wanted to showcase all the beauty of that and have it in a, like a hyper-focused form so people could see and appreciate all the stuff that is going on and what people have been doing like for years with fermenting and curing and dry aging. So I wanted to showcase as many different techniques as I could, within that dinner, as well as exploring like the different flavors from different cultures, as well as showcasing like in succession, like with the proteins, right? Like starting with fish, then moving into duck, then pork, then beef. So I try to do like a few different variations for each different protein to showcase the versatility of those techniques and the flavors that they can develop. So that was like my main goal with that dinner too, and that's what I want to keep pushing so people can see. So that's like the food that I want to cook.
And that was the first time we'd heard from you in a little while. Now you've had at least 3 Henderson restaurants that I've known of, perhaps more. Could you run down your history as a chef here in Las Vegas?
Yeah, so I started, my first brick and mortar was in 2007, like right before the financial meltdown or whatever happened. It was in a little, strip mall area off Pyle and Pollock, like kind of Silverado Ranch in Maryland. But that was Mateo's Cafe, and it was a losing battle before I even signed the lease, right? It was just bad timing, and anything that you could possibly have against you was against me. So that was like number one lesson, $275,000 out the door, gone within 10 months, basically. So then I just, did my own thing again for a while, did catering, personal chef, and then I did Mateo's Gourmet Cafe, which was in Crovetti's Surgery Center up there in Henderson as well. And it was cool, it was mellow, just like sandwiches and, like it wasn't really like the food that I do, but it was just something I was doing. And then I did the food truck thing in 2012 with Just Rollin'. It wasn't Henderson specific, but, it was like upscale kind of like gourmet tacos and like egg rolls and lumpia and stuff like that. But in 2016, I opened Served in Henderson, and that was like my first kind of, glimpse of success, like open with, a zero budget, like in the negative, and a not very eye-catching, appealing restaurant. Like we were right behind kitchen table, no visibility, but like people were coming like for the food, and for me, it was like just a creative outlet. Like people weren't coming because like my carpets were cool and like all the shit, right? They were coming because like I was doing like 20 different Eggs Benedicts that like nobody had ever seen before, so that was a learning experience. Then we moved and we reopened Served kind of in a bigger location, and had some bad actors, in partnership there. So I lost, it just lost its whatever, like. So I put everything together, then we rebranded with Gladstone, and we opened up 138, stronger than ever, like focused, on this whole dry aging, got my, concept together and vision honed in on it. And that was like, a complete like mind altering, or like my mind was blown at like, what we did there with the resources that I had. And, I lost that one too. Like nobody really knows like the deep story of like why that went bye-bye, but it's deep rooted in like personal things that have nothing to do with me. But so anyways, learning from that experience, and I just, am wanting to double down on that concept, and like I've really fed everything I can into building the concept to what you experienced in the dinners that I did, and after closing that 138, I went through the shits for like almost 2 years. I was the executive sous at Resorts World, which was, a different story all in itself. But it kind of helped grow this vision of where, hey, this is my fucking concept. I gotta triple down on it, put it on steroids, and like, this is what I want to do. And I just have to showcase every possible way I can to get back to where I need to be to, you know, be a part of the development and everything going in the future in this city, you know? So that's...
When you opened 138, which was, I know you did a great brunch there, but it was, you know, mainly a dinner restaurant. It was a steakhouse. Of course, you know, what stood out to me was seeing you dry age your own beef right in the front. And then I saw you were doing a little dry aged fish and stuff like that. Prior to 138, how much did you know about dry aging?
To be very honest and transparent, like, I didn't really even get into it until like Served was like, until I realized like, hey, Served is a done deal. Like, we got to ditch this place and start over from scratch and rebrand. So then I started looking at like, you know, like what I could do and like what I liked and what I saw that other people were doing that I liked, that I look up to. And most of that was inspired by like dry aging fish and stuff like that. But I know this, I'm familiar with this town and how this, you know, demographic works. So I immediately went to like, hey, I got to bring something in that's familiar with people, you know, or else I'm not going to have a chance. Because like, if I just open a restaurant and I only dry aging fish, like, people are going to be like, well, what the fuck? Like, they're going to turn back around and be like, you can't even do that.
And to be fair, at the time that, at 138 was opening, dry-aged fish there were maybe one or two people in L.A. that were making a big name from it. I know that they were doing a little bit over at Lakeside at Wynn Las Vegas, but it was pretty new to Las Vegas at the time. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, at the time, I hadn't heard anyone here in town doing it all, you know, like, I was looking at the, you know, I don't know, it was Loué or whatever in L.A. at the Joint. But more like what I was inspired was with like Dave and Waite and Oceanside, who does Wrench and Rodent. Like, that guy's a badass, you know, like dry aging fish, and then Josh Nyland, and, you know, I mean, they're doing it all over the world, right? In like every major culinary city. But that's kind of what first led me into it. And then I said, well, hey, you know, like, I got to do beef, I got to do steaks, you know, and like I got to sneak kind of fish in there. You know, but that's like kind of what I wanted to focus on. It just, obviously, like, beef is much more marketable, right? So it got people in the doors. And then, you know, the most common question I got was like, what is this fish doing in here? Like, is it salted? Is it like, why is it there? You know, so it was like a lot of education, because people are only used, majority of people, right? They're only used to seeing beef, you know, aging, like. And, you know, like, a lot of people don't know about, like, aging duck, you know, but, like, fish is the most, like, way out there. It's, like, almost like in a different universe, you know. But that's how I started learning about, like, the dry aging process. And, like, you know, I just got sucked into it, you know. And then it's like, oh, hey, look, I'm going to start dry aging, and I'm going to dry age steaks. And now I got to get a wood-fired grill. And, you know, just, like, it was like a snowball effect. So, like, I mistakenly fell into what I was supposed to fall into, right? Like, I didn't know that's what I was supposed to be doing, but like, I fell into the niche that I want to create and what I want to focus on. And like, because it's all relative, right? Like, dry aging, it's all relative to like fermentation. I've been into that for, you know, since the early days of, you know, doing Served. Like, I had my little fermentation nooks in the back, and, you know, whatever it is that I could do. So now, like, with this, that it's all relative, now I can focus on all that, and it's all like, to me, it fits all in one cohesive concept and like brand, right? Because it's all related to each other, you know. It's like time is the ingredient, you know. That's what makes all those foods and all those techniques special, right? Like, that prosciutto that you get that's 18 months, it's only special because it's 18 months. Like, why is that special? Because someone was patient, and they, you know, they put some salt, you know, and like, they got a fantastic product, like something you can't match that with, you know, like in one day, right?
When people think about, and I've been writing about the differences between dry-aged and wet-aged steak probably for 20 years, and certainly we've learned more and more about it as years have gone by. We've learned more reasons to do it, and people all have their own philosophies. But it's relatively simple to explain to people that as steak decomposes, it becomes more tender. That's what happens with beef, right? And then how you allow it to age and decompose, whether it's vacuum sealed, not vacuum sealed, that allows how much, moisture disappears, it concentrates flavors, it does all things like that. But at its root, I think it's fair to say that all aging of beef, including dry aging, was started as a way to sort of tenderize beef. Is that the same in fish and other things?
Well, I don't know if I would say that's the same point like with fish. I think with fish, yes, it does tenderize it, but, that's not, I don't think that's a driving factor in saying, hey, I want to age fish or I want to age duck. I think those with those proteins, it's more about flavor development, the flavor that you get over time by aging them, because fish is already as long as you don't overcook it, it's going to be tender, it's going to be soft. So even with the let's say the salmon that I served, it's only aged 10 days, right? It's the fish weighs maybe 15 to 20 pounds, so you can only really age it 8 to 10 days. But even in that amount of time, it has broken down so much to the point where just slight pressure, with your finger pushing it, is going to separate the meat. You can literally push, with barely putting any pressure. If you push that flesh of that salmon, you can push your finger all the way through to the skin. That's how much it's broken down. But then your finger will literally be soaked in fat, in salmon fat or omega fatty acids. So I think with those things, with duck or with fish, you're not really doing it to tenderize it. You're doing it for flavor, to dry it out. With fish, especially that has skin, you want that crispy cracker skin, and the only way you can get that is if it's been ultra dried. You can try to achieve that without aging it, but it's hard, especially because people are so used to they get their fish and they usually get it and they store it in the package that they bought it from, and it's in all the liquid, and that's why it gets that smell within 1 or 2 days, is because you're literally keeping it stored and it's in the liquid that's permeating from the fish. So it's going to go to shit within 2 to 3 days. But you age it in open air with airflow, then it gets dry, the skin gets dry, and you're able to get that crisp that you can only achieve that way. And it's the same thing with duck. Chinese restaurants have been doing it for probably a really long fucking time, to get that skin they get it on that Peking duck. It's the only way you can achieve it. You got to remove that moisture.
Is it fair? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I need to know then. When I'm living in New York City in the 90s and I walk by, every Chinese restaurant has the Peking ducks hanging in the front window. Are they aging those ducks?
I don't know if they've aged them at the point at where you saw them, but they were aged to an extent before they were, vinegared and lacquered and all that stuff. They air dry them, they pump them with air. So it's safe to say, yes, that those, because it's the only way you can get that skin to where it's that crispy, and for me, standard timeline for duck is 8 to 10 days. 10 is a little, then you start getting start getting a little funk, you get that funk, but 7 to 8 days is a very good time for a duck crown, and your end result is you can't reproduce it any other way than aging it. The best ducks that you'll ever taste are aged, just because you can get that. And that's what you eat duck for, is the skin, right? The flesh tastes good, but
no, it's all about that skin, right?
Yeah. So
okay, now I think people of a younger generation, people have grown up learning about food. They hear dry age, doesn't freak them out at all. That, okay, it's interesting, I want to know about it. You talk to older people, it gets weird because the idea was always eat things as fresh as possible, right? Don't keep them in your refrigerator too long. Don't keep them in your freezer too long. But if cook them right away if you're going to have to store them. And this idea that there can be a way to store and sort of allow things to naturally decompose without going bad. Bad meaning dangerous for us to eat. That's odd to some people. So explain why it's safe when you do it this way. What you do to make it safer than somebody just throwing a fucking steak in their refrigerator or that salmon in their refrigerator and letting it just sit there for a long time.
Yeah, well, I mean, so to do it properly, you really need like a very controlled setting, right? So like the units that I have are some of they're the best units on the market. They're both commercially and residentially, like the dry ager units. It's a very precise temperature and humidity controlled environment, and they're very similar, like the differences between temperature and humidity for any proteins, like across the board. So like for beef, it's like 80 to 81% humidity, and a temperature of, 2 Celsius, right? So like those conditions are the conditions that you want to age in. Like your refrigerator that you just have at home is not set up for that. Like who knows, unless you are putting gauges and regulating your humidity, which, if like you're really like food geek like that and you know what you're doing, like sure, but don't have anything else in your fridge because like that meat will, it will absorb like anything else that's in there. You know what I mean? So like most people obviously are not going to do that, right? And but those are the conditions that make it possible and make it safe.
So traditionally in beef, the mold that forms is a really big deal, and having the right mold cultures on the walls of the aging room. And we heard all about how Peter Luger came here and they brought mold from New York to put in the basement of Caesar's Palace. But I believe, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that you had told me that the way you age meats and proteins, you don't use those molds.
Correct, yeah. Like for aging in dry ager units, like none of those molds exist. And I have had the beef that you're referring to, like a lot of places here in town, it's different. Like I get it, it's safe, and those molds they're great, but they come to be by natural elements, right? They can't really like be reproduced, like you're saying they were brought from this place or this cave or whatever, so you get a lot of that. And it's more like when you feel the exterior of a piece of beef that's been aged that way, that has that mold that you're referring to, it has a different feel. It's more moist, right? So what I can gauge from that, I'm not like expert, but I mean I know a little bit. But those molds, are they're more of like more humidity, right? Because I age in a very exact temperature and humidity, and I never get mold. The only time I get mold is if I introduce something else into the ager. Like for these dinners, I had charcuterie in my ager as well as my beef. So the charcuterie essentially made my agers a different microbial universe. So then I did start getting the molds that you're referring to on my beef. But that's only because I had introduced an element into the environment that's not essentially supposed to be there. So it was like combining those two elements within the same environment created the bacteria, the mold that you're referring to. So I was getting that white mold on the exterior, but it still wasn't the same product that you're referring to. That's more of like, it's more of a wet or a more humid environment that they're aging. That's my theory, okay? So don't...
No, that's fair. So, okay, look, I'm hoping that this conversation has gotten people excited, curious, interested in the types of aging that you're doing. And I'll tell you, for me, it's fascinating. And it takes a lot to fascinate me. I've seen a lot of shit. The dinner that you rolled out very much fascinated me. It was also delicious, by the way, but delicious is secondary to me. Like, I liked wrapping my head around what you're doing. So, of course, the natural question comes, well, where can I get this guy's food? Where can I eat Chef Matt Meyer's food? And given that you do not have a restaurant right now, and not everybody's going to get invited to a private dinner like me, now we've got their attention. How are they going to be able to try these things?
All right, so we're launching our first official pop-ups open to the public October 3rd and October 4th. There's 2 seatings, one at 5 and one at 8. It's 12 people only, so it's super exclusive. But those will go live and be available for purchase hopefully sometime this week. Until then, I may do some little micro pop-ups, not as elaborate as the one that you experienced, but that's exactly what I want to do, and I want to build attraction towards what I'm doing, obviously, because I want to keep fucking doing it.
So where should people look for information on how to get tickets to these pop-ups?
Look on our Instagram, my Instagram, Chef Matt Meyer, and a website, chefmattmeyer.com.
Great, man. Well, look, as soon as you have more details, come back on. We'll talk about it. But thanks for taking some time to explain the whole situation to me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Coming up, the Happy Hour Report and the news. This is Food and Loathing. By now you know about Neon Feast, the app that serves up Las Vegas restaurant recommendations, not from self-appointed influencers hustling for free meals or flame from disgruntled diners. Neon Feast gives you suggestions based on our conversations with Vegas restaurant pros, the chefs, managers, owners, writers, bloggers, and others who make this industry great. What kind of food do you want? What part of the valley? How much to spend? What's the occasion? Ask Neon Feast and get the answers. Also check for restaurant news and in-depth features at Neon News. We have you covered with the Neon Feast app and neonfeast.com. And for restaurant news you can use, neonnews.vegas.
You know what time it is. Before we get to the news, it is time to tell you where you should be going for happy hour. That time when you get just out of the office and you're finally ready to cut loose and you are so happy that you need to get cheap booze and cheap food in your gut as fast as possible in order to make you happy. So, of course, every week here on the Food and Loathing Podcast, we are joined by Andrew Morgan of happyhourvegas.com. This is a guy who spends his time researching happy hours, so you know he's a happy motherfucker. Because his job is to be happy. Andrew, how the hell are you?
It's a tough life, man. Going from happy hour to happy hour. But I'm doing it for you guys.
Are you usually wasted by 7 o'clock at night?
I'm just coming back from the clubs at 7 in the morning, so come on. No, just kidding. I'm more of a foodie than anything. I love these happy hours for the food and the drinks, the pairing together, and we've got some really good ones here in this town, so I'm excited.
Okay. Well, what's the topic for today?
Look, I love tapas. I love Spanish food. Not just because of the flavors and the history behind it, but if you think about happy hour and what it is and what tapas is, it's kind of like tapas invented happy hour, right? Mm-hmm. You're talking about socially driven, people are getting together, small plates, sharing, less expensive, gets you to try something new. So I'm a big fan of tapas happy hours.
Okay, well, tapas have had their moments. They've come in and out of fashion here in Las Vegas. I'd say right after COVID, we had another big resurgence, but we're kind of on the downslide now, but there's still a few really, really good places, but I've got no idea which of them has a good happy hour.
So there are not too many tapas happy hours in town, but there's 2 that I love that are my go-to. One is Jaleo, Jose Andres, Chef Andres. He calls it Sangria Hour at the Cosmopolitan Hotel. Look, it's every day, including weekends, 5 to 7 p.m. at the bar only. And I say at the bar only because it's not the biggest property, right? So if you want to have a happy hour, Sangria Hour, get there early. Make sure you're planning because it can get filled up pretty quickly.
What kind of deals they got going on for you there?
Dude, they've got the signature tapas like cono and croquetas, $6 to $7. The iconic sangrias for $8 to $9. My go-to is what Chef Andres calls the perfect bite. Take this seriously, folks. It's a little pastry cones filled with all sorts of different variety of goodness. It's like $7, $8. Like, that's what tapas is all about. Highly recommend that one. Like I said, make sure you get there a little earlier, make some plans to get a seat because it fills up fast.
Yeah, and of course, Chef Jose Andres is doing a lot of great things in this town. But Jaleo that's where he made his mark in America, and that was his first Las Vegas thing. So if you haven't been back in a while, it's always a good way to refresh your memory as to what it was before he was the humanitarian of the year, before he had 7 restaurants here in Las Vegas. Jaleo, I find, it's got a little touch of his Spanish avant-garde there, and you'll find it in things like the Ferran Adria olives, by the way, which you should try if you've never had them, these liquid olives. But for the most part, Jaleo is a super ingredient-driven restaurant, and Chef really loves to give just a lot of love to what he thinks are the perfect ingredients and the perfect bites.
Yeah, definitely. It's serious tapas, serious happy hour. He's hands-on. Highly recommend that one for sure.
Cool.
Second go-to, which is just off-strip. Well, there's 2 locations. The one I usually go to is off-strip. It's called Firefly Tapas. See, these guys are actually really known for their happy hour, right? And I think they do a great job. It's pretty good menu. There's something in the neighborhood of like 20 different kind of, 21 different type of menu items on there, but they're all priced for like $7 to $9 each. We're talking about mac and cheese to tres leches chocolate cake, hearts of palm crab cakes, super awesome variety. Like I said, all for $7 to $9 each. Pretty damn good menu.
And Firefly, honestly, is a restaurant that we just have to give mad props to. I moved here, I think, in 2001. I believe it was already open. And if it wasn't already open, it was opening really shortly after that, the original one. John Simmons is a guy who really, really loves Las Vegas. As a community, he has trained some of my favorite people who I now see at other bars, other restaurants. Really, really cool. He's had some rough times over the 20 years that I've been here, but he always bounces back. He always comes back to help the neighborhood, and he's a really, really good community-focused guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Support them, but don't do it just to support them. Go because it tastes good.
Yes.
It's a Firefly Tapas happy hour, Monday to Friday, 4 to 6 p.m. They also have a reverse happy hour. This is a great little go-to if you have guests who are, kind of tired of the Strip. They want to get a little break from it. It's not too far. It's on Flamingo into the Howard Hughes Center. So 9 p.m. to close Friday and Saturday nights. So make sure you hit that up as well.
Okay, there you go. There's your tapas happy hours coming up. We got the news. That's what's coming up. But what I meant was coming up next week, Andrew, what do you have happening? What do you have in store for our listeners?
One of my favorites from the Gringo, the cantinas, the Mexican cantinas here in Vegas. There's a lot of them. We're going to do a little rundown.
Okay, thanks for that report, Andrew. News time. Did either of you guys, I know this isn't food related, any of you, but I'm going to tie it the fuck in, I promise.
Do it.
Did either of you watch the Black Sabbath farewell show on Saturday?
No, we were traveling.
That would be a no. I don't think I've ever seen Black Sabbath or Ozzy in my entire life.
Oh.
So it's my shame. Sorry.
Oh, that's horrible. I've seen more Black Sabbath farewell tours. And I've seen Ozzy many, many times. I've seen them all. I actually saw Black Sabbath with Ian Gillan from Deep Purple and Jesus Christ Superstar singing for them.
That's awesome.
No, it would have been awesome if I saw him with Ronnie James Dio for them. But and of course I've seen them with Ozzy. So look, it was a fantastic show, and I'm a metal boy at heart. I mean, I know everybody thinks I'm pure punk, but I started off loving metal, and I still do. Obviously, seeing Ozzy was the high point, and of course he did "Mama, I'm Coming Home." I had that song in mind as I was driving over to District 1 on the last day of service to see Christina Ngyuen, known to the entire local restaurant community as Mama. And a lot of people came home over this weekend. They all wanted to say goodbye to D1, and we've known this is coming for a while. A lot of industry people, they went over to pay their respects. I'll tell you how I knew this was happening. I tried to get them to upgrade their Neon Feast listing not that long ago, and it kind of slipped out that they weren't going to be in business that much longer. So, and I don't generally report things like that until they're official. So of course we didn't. I didn't get the details. I figured we'd wait. I'm going to go straight to the source. Once it came out, once it was reported by some other people, Mama gave me a call from the road and she said, come down on our last day. I'll give you the lowdown on everything that's happening. So here's my conversation with Christina.
Why don't you just start at the beginning? What's happening with District 1?
Well, as you know, I came back a little bit over a year ago to just kind of really bring back the life back to District 1 of what we had 11 years ago. Over the time of the pandemic and the 4 years that I wasn't here, it was a struggle and a hurdle for me to start bringing people back to trust the restaurant again and what we had to offer. So we were looking at other options as bringing in partnerships to kind of collab with the space, kind of give it a resurface and launch something new, downsize D1. And this is where we're here today. Yeah.
Okay. So what is that going to look like? And then what are you going to do going forward?
So moving forward, I cannot tell you exactly what's going to happen. I will not be a part of it.
Okay.
That is a personal decision. But they will remodel, resurface, retrain. It's going to be a Japanese gastropub with Winston from Kiara Omakase. Yep.
Okay, so you will not be participating, but they're going to be rebranding this space as a Japanese gastropub. Do they know whether they're going to be doing it under the same name or a different name?
It will be a new name. I don't know exactly what the name is, yes, but I believe it's been announced.
What's next for you?
Oh, my God. I've been in this business for 36 years. I'm going to take a break for the rest of the year. I've had a couple of people reach out to me as soon as I had posted that. I existingly still do catering and events through this Mama's House, and that keeps me afloat, honestly, since the pandemic, and very happily without any stress, right? Like, I just want to... I feel as though I'm a snake right now that just shed its skin and like I'm ready to be like alive again, right? I feel like there's all this dead skin on me that has been there for years since the pandemic, and this is something that's been enlightening to me. When I look at this space, I look at the people that we've had here since day one. I look at the bar. It's something that we all built together, me and Chef Kai and everyone that's been involved. But unfortunately, after the pandemic, we kind of lost that luster, and the restaurant wasn't the same. And when I came back, I think it was a little bit too late for me to put the energy that this space really needs. And I think Chef Winston is going to be able to do that.
Well, I mean, I guess, congratulations to you. You certainly deserve to get out there and, and feel free of everything you've done. But how does it feel looking back on this space, everything you've done over that extended period of time? Because this was so vital to a really key point in off-strip dining.
I'm really proud that we were able to offer what we thought or think that is the best to the community of Las Vegas, and obviously outside of Las Vegas. I'm thoroughly proud. 11 years later, I'm sitting here and, I see exactly what I saw 11 years ago. But unfortunately, due to economic times and changes in our industry and outside of our industry, it's time to create something new. I think in the future that there could be a smaller version of District 1, and that's very possible. So District 1 is not dead. It's still breathing, just a matter of time. Yeah.
Well, best of luck moving forward, Chef, and thank you so much for all your time, and thanks for everything you've done here over the years.
Yeah, thank you so much, Al, for supporting us since the beginning. I mean, it's been a roller coaster ride, and now the ride's over, but you know what? It's time for some new blood and some new visions, and I'm excited for it.
And yeah, man, D1 is gonna be missed. It was so fucking cool. And part of what I do here as the old man of food reporting is I like to remind people of the shit that happened before they caught on to this stuff. And
Yeah.
I will tell you, like, there were conversations about the founding of so many other restaurants that actually happened. I think Sparrow and Wolf did their training at D1
Oh,
before they
wow.
opened. I'm not 100% sure on that one, but like, it was the place where all the chefs who were
Yeah.
thinking about taking a jump off the strip. It's where they all went after work and they strategized. And so I mean, I look forward to what Chef Winston does in there with the sushi or the Japanese izakaya. It'll be great. I more look forward even to what Christina does next after she's had a chance to kind of get this out of her system. And just thank you to fucking everybody in there.
Yeah.
Only went there once, but it was about 10, 11 years ago with you, Al.
Really?
The first meals you and I ever had together.
I thought that was Partage.
That was like the second time.
Oh, okay. Cool. Hey, man, I take people to good fucking places.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh, hey, the vegan butcher shop. I know, vegan butcher shop. You get it.
Yeah.
Faux meats, all that shit. No butcher. They're closing. It's closing both of its locations. According to a post on social media, quote, "This may only be temporary, but for now we are taking a step back." It goes on to blame unexpected circumstances since, quote, taking over. So I'll be honest. I have not been in touch with the No Butcher people since I interviewed them for the Review Journal like 5 or 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So maybe it was sold. I don't really know. Who knows? But the post also says, "We understand that this news may be disappointing, frustrating, but all we ask is that you approach this moment with kindness. There is often more happening behind the scenes than most people realize." Oh, baby, I can relate to that.
That sounds
this
all
week.
kinds of sketchy.
Drama in the restaurant business? Who knew?
Oh, no, man.
I just hope everybody's okay.
Hey, Rich, by the way, here's some news. I hated this season of The Fucking Bear.
Okay, yes, you did let us know that. Yes.
I haven't finished yet.
No,
but I'm not loving it.
last. I hadn't watched it when we spoke last. So I'm just coming in. It went further in the direction I didn't like last year. I'm sure other people will love it. The acting is fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
But it's really just a lot of people looking at each other being sad or yelling at each other being angry.
Yeah.
Like 10 episodes or whatever of people just looking at each other being sad. Anyway, back to other news. This story's just changed. So professional skateboarder Neen Williams and chef Philip Franklin Lee, whose name may sound familiar to people who know his Michelin-starred Scratch Restaurants group, they are heading to Las Vegas for 3 months at Resorts World Las Vegas. Their project is called NADC Burger, which stands for Not a Damn Chance.
Okay.
They were supposed to be doing Tuesday and Wednesday media tastings this week and then open on Friday. So I have all written in my notes, they're open now, right? Because this comes out on Friday. But I think they've postponed their media tastings to Thursday and Friday now, which is why I don't have the interview that I thought I was going to drop into this spot. But I don't know when they're opening. I really don't. I would guess it's after this summer. I would guess it's this weekend. Excuse me. I don't know what I'm thinking there. After the summer, caught something on my notes there. I would guess it's this weekend, but I'm not 100% sure. It's going to be in the Suns Out, Buns Out space next to the Conrad Hotel lobby, operating 24 hours a day with burgers. So that is coming, and I should have Rich. You'd love that.
Yeah, I like that space. I love going to Junior's across the hall for pancakes when all my 70-year-old buddies are in town, which is coming up in October. What happened to Suns Out, Buns Out? Is it empty now?
I do not know. I will know once I go there. I mean, maybe they're just coexisting because they brought Randy's Donuts in there too, right?
It's a great space. I like that. I like everything done on that side. I like everything done on both sides of that hallway leading to the Conrad. I like the Conrad. I like the lobby bar there in the Conrad. It's all. I like Resorts World. I'm an outlier.
You could never be an influencer. All they do is pick Resorts World apart lately, man.
I'm an influencee.
Yeah, no, man, you influenced me. Okay, anyway, so that's cool. Next week, I should have more information. I should have eaten it. Maybe I'll bring Rich to eat it with me. We'll see. But we should have some more info by next week.
That'd be acceptable. Our friend Brian Howard continues to wow us with the great chef and bartender collaborations at Sparrow and Wolf in Chinatown. The latest is going to be a little different, and it is not a late-night party, and it's not exclusively a Las Vegas chefs. He's tapping some of Latin America's top talent for a dinner on
Ooh.
Sunday, August 3rd. It's the team from Mexico's Fauna, which came in at number 17 on the list of Latin America's 50 best restaurants. Also on board, local chef DJ Flores of Milpa and Nocturno. They're calling it Sparrow and Wolf and Fauna present Mexico times Southeast Asia, or by Southeast Asia. Tickets $195. That's all inclusive, tax, gratuity, everything. Get more information at the Sparrow and Wolf website, which we love. A reminder, I don't think it's that quick because it's half a page here on my thing. A reminder that Andrew Morgan of HappyHourVegas.com, whom you just heard moments ago, he and us and everybody will be at Flanker at Mandalay Place this coming Tuesday. That's the 15th of July. The launch of the Taco Tuesdays promotion. They're celebrating from 4 to 11. We'll be there about 4 to 6 unless we have so much we can't leave because we blow about a 0.2.
That's what Uber is for.
Yes,
A la
exactly.
carte.
We'll be interviewing people for the podcast. Hey, we'll interview you if you come by and say, hey, interview me. You know?
We're easy. We are so easy.
Yeah.
That used to be my dating philosophy too.
Oh, mine once again, and it's really not working out. Oh, come on down. Say hello. Grab a pair of tacos for $9, $6 drafts, $9 margaritas, and a $25 3x3 taco and margarita flight.
There we go.
Yes, these types of promotions are new for us. Reminds us of the radio days when we would have club nights and things like that. Always fun. We expect this will be fun. So come on down and see us and drink and eat and all that stuff and enjoy Flanker.
Yes.
See us, enjoy Flanker. Do it. Support us. Yeah. But I mean, trust me, these are the things of being able to promote things like this. This keeps us going. People.
Absolutely.
Okay?
I love this.
Got to keep us going. Come out, support. I am not,
So
I'm
happy.
not beyond begging. Come down. Meet us. Show me you love me. Show me you love me.
Okay. We're taking this a little too far, guys.
Yeah. Enough about me. What do you think about me?
Before we sign off, it does seem like a good time to remind people that our friend Bob Barnes publishes his weekly rundown of dining news with a touch of entertainment news over at neonnews.vegas. It comes out every Tuesday. And this week's piece has news on 00 Pie and Pub and Pizza Rock, LPM and the Cosmo, and a new menu at Diner Ross, as well as events at Marche Bacchus, BJ's Brewhouse, and an A's Blue Jays watch party at Stadium Swim at Circa. And his pick of the week this week, which tends to be his most in-depth story of the week, is about Laguna Pool House in Palms Place and its chefs, Luke Palladino and Rafael Campos. And keep an eye out on that same website because a more in-depth talk with Luke Palladino is coming out soon.
Awesome. Man, Bob does great stuff.
He's amazing.
You got to read Bob every week.
Every
just like
week.
I think you should listen to this podcast every week. If you do those two things, you will know everything.
Right?
You will be smart and your friends will be shocked by how much you know.
That's about it for this week. Thanks to all of our guests, Matt Meyer, Mama Christina Ngyuen, Bruce Kalman. I'm Gemini Stevens with Al Mancini and Rich Johnson. We are all wishing you good eating and reminding you that no matter how full you get, you always got to stay hungry.